Telangana's urban political map has undergone a dramatic churn, with voters delivering a sweeping mandate to Revanth Reddy-led International Congress in the urban local body elections. According to the final figures from the Telangana State Election Commission, the Revanth Reddy-led Congress has secured a commanding 1,537 wards, effectively crossing the halfway mark of the 2,996 total seats contested. The BRS, which previously held sway over these local bodies, has been relegated to the second spot with 780 wards. The BJP maintained a presence by winning 335 wards, while the AIMIM held on to 70, primarily in its traditional strongholds, and independents and other smaller parties accounted for the remaining 274 wards, many of whom are now expected to play kingmaker in hung councils like Nizamabad and even Kottagudem. With Congress now in control of these municipalities, the focus will shift to February 16th, when the elected councillors will officially take their oaths. And the numbers, viewers, tell a story of total collapse for the BRS. Once the dominant force in urban pockets, the BRS vote share has crashed to a record low, leaving the party completely wiped out in the municipal corporations. While the BJP managed to hold on to selective gains, they remain largely a peripheral player against the Congress wave. From the busy streets of Ramagundam to the municipalities of Nalgonda, the high voter turnout has translated into a singular sentiment, and that is trust. This urban verdict doesn't just empower the current government, viewers, it also signals a deepening, perhaps irreversible political decline for the BRS. Political observers see this result as a strong reaffirmation of Chief Minister A. Revanth Reddy's leadership and governance agenda, extending the party's winning momentum since the 2023 assembly elections. Buoyed by this urban surge, Congress has now shifted focus to the 2026 Greater Hyderabad civic polls, aiming to consolidate and also expand its dominance across urban Telangana. But as Congress surges ahead, viewers, the bigger story is the sharp urban collapse of the BRS. What really went wrong for a party that once dominated Telangana's cities? Here are 6 reasons why the BRS is facing back-to-back setbacks. Reason number 1, public cracks within the first family has hurt BRS very, very badly. The KTR Kavita rift played out in full public view, exposing leadership tensions. Kavita's suspension sent a signal of internal power struggles, while her separate political moves dented the BRS's vote base. And reason number 2, urban voters appeared fatigued with the same leadership. After years of uninterrupted rule, many wanted change at the local level. Repetitive promises and familiar faces failed to inspire confidence among people. Reason number 3, viewers, delayed job notifications has angered the youth. Several developmental projects, especially outside Hyderabad, moved slowly or were stalled. Welfare schemes failed to reach all intended beneficiaries, weakening trust on the delivery part. Now, reason number 4, opposition attacks over alleged misuse of irrigation and infrastructure funds stuck. The perception that BRS leaders were benefiting personally proved very, very damaging in urban constituencies. Reason number 5, viewers, the party's national expansion confused its core Telangana voter base. Rebranding from TRS to BRS diluted its regional identity, while election campaigns lacked a sharp, coherent urban pitch. And finally, viewers, local leaders complained of being sidelined, cadres lacked motivation on the ground, and poor coordination between state and district units weakened booth-level mobilization. So, as Telangana's cities redraw the political map, one message is unmistakable: urban voters have spoken decisively for the Congress. And this is not just a municipal win, but a validation of Revanth Reddy governance model for the BRS. It's a warning that internal fractures, fading delivery, and strategic drift come at a very, very heavy electoral cost. The road ahead now leads to the 2026 Greater Hyderabad civic polls, which could happen in the middle of this year, where the real test will be whether Congress can convert momentum into long-term urban dominance and whether the opposition can regroup before the window closes. To help us understand what really is happening with the BRS, we have Gautam Shankar and also Mohammad Wajiullah joining us live on this broadcast. A very good evening to both of you. Gautam, what do you think is the reason behind BRS's collapse in Telangana, Gautam?
Yes, Deepak. If you have to actually look at the numbers historically in Telangana municipal elections in the past, keep in mind that Telangana itself is a very young state right now. This is actually the 3rd term that municipal elections are happening. And if you have a look at it, the municipal elections basically reflect whether the people are actually happy with the ruling government. And this is basically what has happened this time as well. BRS was in power for the previous 2 terms, and they got a sweeping majority in the municipal elections held previously as well. But this time the Congress came into power in 2023, and they have roughly managed to secure about all declared vote. What this basically means is that over the past two elections, Telangana, the people of Telangana have been giving sweeping majority in the municipal elections for the ruling government. But right now, with just over 50% here, is this enough for the Congress? That is the question that needs to be asked. Even though the decline of the BRS is a story in itself, the Congress having secured just over 50%, what it actually means is that over the last two elections, the people have voted sweepingly as much as 70 to 80% for the ruling government. So the BRS argument is that the Congress has actually not managed to get a substantial tally. It's not a sweeping mandate as it is being made out by the Congress, but it's actually a decline, and the BRS is actually on the way up. At least that is the argument that has been put forward by KTR. But keep in mind that for the Congress, Revanth Reddy actually made the election all about himself, while the BRS actually was campaigning with all of its tall leaders, and we also had BJP bring in some of its big guns. Revanth Reddy said, "I am the chief minister. If the elections are won, it is because of me. If it is lost, it is because of me." Basically, it's saying to the people, "I will be at the helm of the local governance, not just the government, the ruling government in Telangana." So this message seems to have had a major impact on the elections. And already, like you mentioned, the Bharat Rashtra Samithi is actually in turmoil of its own, with the family in rift against each other. We have the brother-sister feud between KTR and Kavita, and also we have the dispute between the Harish Rao as well. And also keep in mind that the number of scams that have been basically linked, there is no substantial, evidence, but the links with scams basically that have been highlighted recently with regard to the Formula E scam of KTR, and also the phone tapping scam that was actually recently we had the BRS Supremo KCR was questioned as well. So all of this has made an impact on the people while casting the votes. And as a collective, it seems to have been a very bad election for the BRS, and they need to regroup and assess ahead of the next local body election that is coming up later in this year as well, Deepak.
And Vaji, we spoke at length last night about Revanth Reddy's governance model, but today let's talk about the BRS. Do you think, when BRS had national ambitions, that is when they changed it to BRS, right? And, when, they focused mostly on the national picture, they forgot about their regional aspirations as well. So they didn't really, connect with regional players because their ambitions was to go national. So do you think that really had an impact all this while?
Absolutely, Deepak. Looking back now, if you see the entire idea of moving from Telangana and trying to make the party a national party have backfired badly for the BRS, because, like Gautam mentioned, the TRS was a new party. It was a new state that was reformed. It had just come into existence. And for a party to keep its hold in a state, it takes a lot of time. Now, if you see the case of AAP, when AAP also tried to venture out, they were not successful initially, other than Punjab. It was not easy for them to venture out everywhere because they first have to make their ground strong, and that is what confusion that created in the TRS was the move to BRS, and that left the cadre confused. Whether are we still going to focus on TRS, which is our actual architect, which is our actual idea, or we are actually trying to focus on saving India, because at a time when this entire initiative was, at that time the India front was also coming forward, and KCR wasn't ready to move to the India bloc, and that is when he created another bloc for himself, which he called the BRS, and then he tried to get in a lot of other parties, which eventually didn't work out for him, and that led a vacuum within the cadre itself, because at the end of it, it's the cadre which has to understand the messaging from the top, and if that messaging hasn't gone down well, it does not resonate with our that created an entire confusion within the party, and they were not able to concentrate more, whether to we concentrate on winning the state, saving the state, keeping our seats reserved, or we concentrate nationally. and that backfired much. And apart from that, Gautam also mentioned, the infighting. Infighting especially brings a lot of messaging on the ground. It makes the people realize that they're not able to keep their house well, especially in the south. In the south, there is a very standard understanding: if your house is not well, you will not be able to garner, you will not be able to rule the state. And apart from that, the absence of KCR, that's one of the biggest factors. KCR is the architect of Telangana. He's the one who's been seen throughout the bifurcation, even after the bifurcation, before the bifurcation. If there is TRS, it is KCR. That was the resonance, and the absence of his from the party, despite the fact that he used to still rule from his farmhouse, not from the office. His presence was still one of was an important factor, and his absence on the ground. Lastly, he was seen, I think, when he had gone for questioning. And that was the time when he was seen during the corruption cases. So that also culminated into again for Revanth Reddy, because like Gautam mentioned, Revanth Reddy made himself the face. Whatever happens, win, lose, I am the one responsible for it. And that emphasis was KCR for Telangana at one point of time, and that didn't happen, and that didn't go out well for them. So all these factors, somewhere or the other, have been a reason for the decline of KCR right now. And it's now time for them to regroup, because if you see Kavita joined the AIFB, the All India Forward Bloc, and they have been able to gain some numbers. And that has helped the forward block, and they believe that it's the presence of Kavita that has helped them. So the popularity of Kavita also has not diminished. Now the infighting between the two of them and Kavita gaining numbers for a party that has not gained numbers in the past also resonates with the people. So all these
That's
things
right, and
will
that
now be.
front, Vaji, has eaten into some of BRS's votes as well, and it's clearly evident. So, Gautam, if you could sum up in just 30 seconds, can the Congress retain its winning momentum, and also tell us if there is a scope for a comeback for the BRS?
See KCR as a supreme leader, and they haven't forgotten his contribution in making Telangana a separate state, to carve out a separate state from Andhra Pradesh. So what the BRS really needs to do is tap into that sentiment once again, and forget about trying, like what she said, you forget about Bharat Rashtra Samithi, bring back Telangana Rashtra Samithi, have a connect with the people, stay with the people, and understand the cadres and the sentiments of the local people there. And that is going to be a very important factor going forward, because right now it seems like with the BJP trying to capture the role of the main opposition as well, and in fight with the Congress, the BRS is in serious danger of being relegated to the third position if they do not fix their internal problems and do not put their house in order soon, Deepa.